Here we All right. Hi, everyone. This is Joe Massaro with the Yahweh Sisterhood Book Club. And I was just telling Karen Kingsbury before we got on that this has been a dream of mine to spend some time with her for so many years. And we are so grateful to have you with us tonight.
Oh, it's so good to be here. It's going to be fun.
It is. It is. Now, gosh, there's so much to talk about, but and the book we're talking about, A Distant Shore, by the way, which I so loved. And we'll get into that in just a little bit. But again, welcome. There are so many sisters who are part of our book club that just love you and wish that they could all be here or hear you live. But we actually met in, let's see, April of 2018. I have it down here so I wouldn't forget it, but of course I need my glasses to see it. We were at Westside Church in Indianapolis, Indiana. And I want to do something. I am just going to share the screen real quick. And I am going to pull up a photo. Oops. Hold on one second. Let me pull it up first. That would be good. I've got too many things opened here and I can't see. All right. Here it is. Okay. We just open this up and here we are.
How fun. Look at that.
Yes, no, that's with my normal hair color in the middle. But we had 10 women go with us and everyone was so incredibly blessed that day.
It was fun. That was a special night.
It was a very special night. Now, okay, so before we get into your book, you have written so many books. I think they're well over 100 at this point in time. I started out with the Baxter series, as so many other people probably did. Still love, love, love the series. And so many of your books now have been made into movies, and I have seen them all. And I love them. I love The Bridge. I'm trying to think of the other ones off the top of my head. But no, actually, there's one I didn't see. It has a dandelion name in it, I think.
Like dandelion dust.
Yes, I have not seen that one. So now I've got to check that out.
Okay.
But, maybe you could just share a little bit about where you live, what's going on right now with you and your family.
Yeah, absolutely. We have been living in Tennessee now in the Nashville area for the past 10 years. And I'm still writing about 2 books a year, but I'm also helping my son and I are writing the Baxter family children books. So that kind of makes it 3 a year. It's a little bit of that. He writes the first draft and then I come along and edit it. So we're putting out about 3 books a year. Our kids have all grown up and moved out of the house, except for one. EJ still at home with us.
Yes.
And a lot of the family works together. So Kelsey and Kyle do design and websites and newsletters and all things that involve a design of any kind. And that's very much a full-time job.
Sure.
And then Austin, he is our youngest son, and he works for the Karen Kingsbury Believe, the writing intensive that I have coming up June 22nd to the 24th, and it just officially sold out. So that's exciting.
I was looking at that. That is an amazing time.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It'll be just, it's 3 days and 2 nights. We're in the middle of the week there so that people can come early and have a vacation like the weekend before or after.
Yep.
And so Austin's working with the people who are registering for that. We're looking at their writing samples. So I had to somebody like really be the concierge person. And that's been Austin. EJ is working with You Were Seen, which You Were Seen is our ministry arm that is where you get a pack of 10 You Were Seen cards and you just give them out along your day and live your life on mission. My husband is really all things, like he is retired for now anyway from teaching and coaching. And he is so busy helping us in all different ways. And he's the prayer support over it all, for sure. And my mom works still answering emails. If someone writes a letter to Karen at KarenKingsbury.com, my mom sees it first and she'll respond from Anne, from my mom, she doesn't say it from me. Trish, my sister, is my assistant in the office, and she oversees my calendar and that kind of thing. So just like so fun. And Tyler, being a writer on staff. So it's we love living here. We love working together. We really see it as ministry. We love, anyone who reads the book, like we're praying for those people. So it's great. We're very thankful. And 3 little grandboys, Kelsey and Kyle, have given us 3 little grandsons, and that's been amazing as well.
They are so cute. I love when you put them into something that you're talking about. It's just adorable. So it's truly a family affair.
It really is. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no question. So we get to work together and play together. Like when it's not so busy, then we just got back from going to the beach, which was the first time we've done that in a few years.
Wow. That sounds like, I got to tell you, I could use the beach right now. That sounds really, really good. So let's kind of go back to your book, A Distant Shore. Why this book, I guess? First of all, I'll say it again, I absolutely loved it, and we'll get into the theme and things like that. But I know I read something that you had mentioned you wanted to write something about like this book, and some people were like, why would you want to do that?
Well, because I haven't done anything that's really tapped back into my days as a reporter,
Mhm.
getting, understanding how crime works and which law enforcement agencies, or in this case, even military branches, would be involved in a kind of a operation that's a rescue, really. And it really does become, it's local police, it's international police, it's FBI, and in this case, it was the Navy, and the Air Force people were all involved in this
Yes.
rescue. And that's pretty common. They have, like, they've spent time, and so I had to do a ton of research. And I think for me, being home, stuck in the house, with COVID, like people were when I wrote this, it was a way to get to a distant beach that I couldn't get to otherwise. So I really love the beach. I'm living in a landlocked state, but I still love the beach. So I think for me, it was just getting a chance to virtually, I could kind of, get to that beach while I was writing, and I got to vicariously live there for a little while. And then the topic, it just interests me to write about a rescue of these girls. God has given us the ultimate rescue with Jesus. And so I feel like there's a lot of parallels. And the first draft, the editor, my editor, who's amazing, said, I think this is too much. I don't think, I think your readers are going to really struggle with this. And in that version, Eliza was trafficked. In the version that you read, that I agreed to change it, and I agree with her. I agree that it's better. Eliza is an untainted, she's an untouched princess in this dark world. Her father is the mastermind, and he's about to use her as a pawn and marry her off against her will. So she's still in a very dark place, but she's not herself dealing with being trafficked. So it was just, allowed you the ability to read it without feeling like I just can't read it. And there's a lot to be gained in terms of knowledge on this topic.
Mhm.
So it was worth it to take Eliza to a different, again, still kept, still definitely a problem that she's being abused to be in this environment, but not herself being trafficked.
Yeah, I have to tell you that I picked up the book and started to read it, and I hadn't planned on reading it all the way through, but that's exactly what happened. I could not put it down. And the topic in itself, sex trafficking, is something that is so near and dear to my heart as well. And some other women that I have interviewed who have written about it or experienced it. It just touched my heart. And I have to tell you that I think that the story will reach so many other women, and hopefully some of those who are in a situation where hopefully they can get out of where they are. And
Yeah.
or hopefully somebody, one of the things I loved was that you were showing how there are certain signs to look for.
Yeah.
I think that was so incredibly helpful because you just don't know.
Right. Yeah. I think it sharpens your awareness. One of the things that I was very thankful for is literally God worked it out to where I was in a conversation during the last sort of phases of editing. I was in a conversation with a man who was a friend of a friend of a friend, and he was newly, like in the last year or so, retired from being the head of human trafficking for the FBI. And I couldn't use his name, but he read the book. He was willing to read the book, and all he wanted was a copy at the end of the day. It was so kind. And he gave me 5 pages of notes Like
Wow.
they're not undercover agents, they're not secret agents, they're undercover agents. And we would never do this, and we would always do this. And so he loved the story, but now I can very happily say it's very accurate as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love the writing. I love the characters that you created. I think the two main characters are so believable in how they're what happened. You know, obviously we don't want to give away the story, but it's so worth reading it. And I actually had somebody who came to my house today and saw the book, and they're like, "Oh, can I borrow that?" And I'm like, "Just give me one more day," because I wanted to have it for tonight.
Yeah.
But I have just recommended it so much and just, believe that it is life-changing. And I applaud you and appreciate you so much for going away from what you might have normally written. And there's so
Mhm.
many beautiful books that you write to do something like this. But you encourage, as we were talking about earlier, you encourage people in writing. And I guess you gave some tips that I saw on, for people who are interested in writing or maybe are writing, like I'm writing my first children's book and should be done in about 2 months. And I've got my characters and I'm creating my boards and, so I can see what everybody looks like in reality or in my world that I created. Um, but there's so many great things. One of the things you talked about is to keep writing.
Mhm.
And I think that that's so important because for myself alone, I will say that there were times when I've called myself the reluctant writer or the reluctant author because I never thought I'd be there at this point in time in my life doing what I'm doing. But I think that that was really important. And you had talked also about joining a writer's group or a critique group. That is so incredible. I belong to one, and I also I'm co-president of Word Weavers International in Fort Wayne. And I so believe in that as well. And you were talking, so I'm talking about what you were talking about, jump in anytime. But I guess part of what we have are people who are just not readers, but also authors and writers. So I like to hear from the author itself on what you would say possibly to somebody who is looking to, maybe write or obviously go and learn from you would be the best thing to do.
I know I'm very excited about I have this writing intensive that's called
Yeah.
Believe, because my dad always said, Karen, somebody has to be the next best-selling author, and I believe it's going to be you. So using that word, and then also it's a twist on faith as well, that, I believe God gives us the gift to tell a story and he'll see it through. He'll help us to get there and see it get published. So my Believe intensive is 120 people and it just sold out, which is exciting. I can, it's more than I could have dreamed that would happen so quickly. I'm going to do it again next year. I will
Good.
probably go live with that in November so people can see when it is and if they want to join me on that. But short of that, I would say read in your genre. So if you're a person who wants to write mysteries, you should be reading mysteries. If you're a person who wants to write inspirational Christian fiction, you should be reading that. And that will hone your skills. It will teach you things you aren't even knowing you're learning, but you're learning as you read. And then, I always say to people, they say, oh, I'm busy, but I have this book. Well, if you write, a page a day,
Hmm.
give yourself a small goal. And before you know it, a year goes by, you'll have that book.
Yeah, so true. So obviously you have a lot going on. So is there something that you're kind of like saying, what's next? This is going to be something that I'm looking to do down the road, or I'm praying about it, or obviously, like I said, you've got lots going on.
Well, for me, I think I'm going to continue to do 2 books a year. I have Forgiving Paris is the one I'm working on right now,
I saw
which
that.
should be out in the fall. Then I have Just Once, which is the story of Hank and Erbil from the Baxters. She was a minor character, but we saw her quite a bit. She had Alzheimer's, and it's a World War II love story
Oh, love
about
that.
Hank and Erbil. So that's going to be really fun. And then I'm actually done with the contract I have with Atria, Simon and Schuster. I would assume I'll continue, with another contract with them, but we don't have any of those details. We aren't trying to figure them out yet. They've expressed that they're interested, and that's exciting. But I really would like to start a new series
Mm.
on some characters that are less, like they've got more going on, like maybe maybe a family where one of the kids is in prison and one of them's dealing with like a heroin addiction or something. But not everybody would be like that, but I just think some of the things that our culture is dealing with, or some
Yes.
division, maybe politically, and not too much, because I have, but in terms of the conflicts, I feel like I don't want to just go to the same conflicts that I had with the Baxters. I want to make this be a new family that maybe we could all relate to, or maybe more people could relate to even than the Baxters. They still would have love. They would still have a grounded faith that they could keep coming back to. But I'm just at the early stages of that and trying to figure that out. And then feel like the Believe event is so fun for me. So I've done a lot of years of traveling and speaking to, 3, 5, 10, 13,000 people. And that's been so fun. But with our little grand boys, and as I kind of like look ahead in the next decade, I feel like I'm going to do 4 signature, like Karen Kingsbury signature events here in downtown Franklin, right next to Landmark Booksellers, where everyone loves to go and visit. And downtown Franklin is such a great tourist spot anyway. And I'm going to announce these in November, but I'll just give you a sneak peek. But it's going to be Believe, that's the writing intensive, and then Belong. And Belong is going to be a women's, we're going to have a women's conference where we just get to be best friends for 3 days, and we get to look into scriptures, and we get to hear people's stories, and we just get to be, spend that time together. It's just going to be, I think people will leave so changed by time like that. And then there'll be Beloved, and that'll be for 60 couples. And my husband and I will probably bring in some friends, like maybe Matthew and Emily West, or friends that we have in the area, to maybe add some of their wisdom, but just kind of to have us, the 62 couples, including myself and our guests, we would be looking at where have we been as a married couple, and where are we headed, and just really come away again, just closer to God, closer to each other. And then Be Still is the 4th one. So I think they'll run like March, April, and then June and July. And that will leave me with the fall off. I wouldn't have an event then. But the Be Still would be where we outline the story of our lives. So we really go deep into what got us here, what shaped us. And again, where are we headed, and where do we see the fingerprints of God on our story? So that'll be called Be Still. So there's 4 events, and I would like to just get into a routine of doing those 4 events. I love doing events. I love meeting with people, but keeping it small, 120 spots per event. And then, just see, I feel like we could really get into a really wonderful pattern of, some people would probably want to do it again and again, because it would be so fun and so fulfilling. So I'm excited about that. And then of course, there's lots of television and movie stuff going on too.
Yes, absolutely. Going back to something you were starting to say is, I am a mom who had a son that was incarcerated, and I have met so many people through that.
Yeah.
And I've interviewed some other individuals through it as well. And I so love to hear that you are thinking about that, writing about that, because I'm so grateful to God that he is out and has a great job, got married, all of those wonderful, wonderful things. And
Yeah.
his children are doing well. My grandson just got a scholarship to go to 4 years of school.
Wow.
So even in the midst of all of that pain that we all went through, and as a family, we all went through so much. But to see what God has done is just so incredible. So I can't wait for that one.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the One Chance Foundation for people who may not know, because that is something that you do.
Yeah, the One Chance Foundation is amazing. It's another one of the kind of phrases that I got from my dad, because my dad would say, Karen, life is not a dress rehearsal. You have just one chance to make the difference, or to make the impact, or write the book, or raise the family. You just have one chance. So we call it the One Chance Foundation. And the branch of our family ministry and business that's the writing part, that's life-changing fiction, it pays for the expenses for One Chance Foundation. So readers can go in and they can sign up for different levels. If they go to KarenKingsbury.com, they can sign up for different levels, and they can be positive that all of their money that they're donating is going to adoption grants. And we tend to give 2 or 3 of them out a month. We're not a huge operation, but it's reader supported. And we tend to give $4,000 to $5,000 at the end of someone's adoption process. We come in after the GoFundMe's and all those things and help people get to their child and bring them home to their forever family. We have, it's fun because when you sign up for different levels, if you a certain amount, one-time donation, you get a signed book. And if you're giving monthly, you get a signed book when you start up. And you get a signed book like once or twice a year, depending on your level. So it's really been rewarding for us as a family to be able to say, you know, when I go to an event, a Women of Joy or Extraordinary Women event, that kind of thing, we bring books and we sell them, and then all the proceeds, we have to pay a merch fee and that kind of thing, but everything that's like everything that we walk away with goes to the One Chance Foundation. So it's really special.
I love that. That is such a wonderful idea for a family to do together. You know, I think about people who drive through and get a coffee and do all these other things. You could just use that money in such an incredible way to help make a difference in the lives of families finding, you know.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, we adopted 3 little boys from Haiti in 2001.
Oh, I saw
And
that.
they're all grown up. So EJ lives at home, and Sean lives in Georgia, and Josh lives in Florida. And so they were all, I mean, they're grown up, they're pushing 30 and doing well, and, you know, successful in their life and their faith. So it's exciting to see when God says, you know, the religion he finds pure and faultless is to look after widows and orphans. Then you go, what can I do then? Is it prayer? Okay, then pray. Is it $15 a month? Then do that, because you know that you made an impact in someone's story, or maybe it's bringing home some children. So it's any part of that.
Well, my heart is talking about Haiti. My heart is to get books into the hands of children all over the world,
Yeah.
and to do it. And my husband and I are just starting a nonprofit, and this will be the second one that we've had in our lifetime together. And I want to really see that and to incorporate however else we can do it. But I so believe in that so much. And I also believe that those children will be the next writers.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, and so I really believe that God wants to do something so great in that area. And I'm just trusting him.
Yeah. Good. That's great.
Yeah. So is there anything that you're reading right now, or?
Right now I'm reading, I mean, I love to read the Bible morning and night. I always find such great story inspiration in scripture, and I'm watching The Chosen.
Oh, yes. Oh,
And
yes.
people have to figure it out, find out where to get it, because it's free and it's amazing, and you're going to want to pay it forward, because that's, you
Most
know, it's just
definitely.
so,
That's what we
so
did.
good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then I'm reading, right now I'm reading a book called Sugar Nation. Actually, Sugar Nation is written by Jeff. I'm not sure of his last name right now, but anyway, it was a big bestseller several years ago. But it just kind of takes a look at the whole diabetes phenomena in our country. My dad died of complications of type 2 diabetes, and several family members have it. So it's just fascinating to read. And he's done his research very well, and he's a very qualified writer. So he's entertaining to read, and he's got all the research. It's just compelling. But my next book on my list is, it's time to read Mere Christianity Again by C.S. Lewis.
C.S. Lewis, yes.
So good.
Love him. Yes, I so love him. So what, and I just lost my question, so give me a second here to kind of find it again. But, oh, I know. What is one of your favorite places to go to vacation? I'm presuming there's a beach involved, but.
Definitely a beach. We just came back from from Destin, so Florida. We really haven't been there. We went there once like 8 years ago, but we did end up finding Atlantis. So there's a hotel at Atlantis called the Reef in Bahamas. We love that place. Like, they know us, and we would come once a year and spend a week. We would bring friends and just really have a great time. But with COVID, I don't know. I don't want to be taking a COVID test in the middle of a lobby. And it just, the whole thing doesn't sound fun. Getting ready for it didn't sound fun. Getting in the car and driving 6 hours south to the beach sounded more fun.
Yeah.
So we just got back from Destin, but my favorite spot for sure is Bahamas.
I've been there. I so agree, except the weather wasn't quite what I wanted it to be when I went.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
it can. You had some pretty good weather when we've gone there. In fact, it was interesting. We had this last trip, we had 5 out of our 7 days were double red flag. You could not go in. So that was kind of crazy.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
But you also want to respect it because they've lost some people on the riptides in that part of the beach. So
Sure.
in the Bahamas, we haven't had that kind of problem with weather. Occasional thunderstorms, but that's it.
That was it. All right. Is anything else you want to share? Maybe something we haven't talked about. I mean, we talked about family, what you're doing. This, let me just say this: love it, get it, read it, definitely. And so people know that they can go to KarenKingsbury.com. All of your links, I think, are there for your different social media things. And please go there and check it out and be sure to connect with Karen. It's so nice. I met your husband, by the way, and he is so, time when we were in Indianapolis, he was so great. And everybody, the whole team that was working there that day was so great. I know Kim, who's behind me, she was there too and brought her mom. But we had such a great time, and you were so gracious and took photos and did all those great things that we as readers so appreciate.
Well, it was special. Like I said, it was very nice. I mean, I think just maybe the fact that A Distant Shore has 15 pages of first responders and law enforcement officers named in the back as a way of honoring them. I asked the readers, please send in your law enforcement officers and first responders so we can honor them. My publisher had to agree to the additional pages because this was a lot of pages.
It's a lot of pages. Yeah.
It's over 1,000 names that ended up being honored. So one of the things readers are doing is they're buying a copy and then reading it, and then they're passing it on to their local law enforcement, like to their local police station or to their firefighters. And it makes them, I mean, I've seen pictures and heard stories of them crying, like, what?
Yeah.
She's honoring us. Like, they don't feel that honored right now. So I think one of the reasons to get A Distant Shore, besides the fact that I think it's one of my best books I've ever written, is really to honor somebody who you might know, or even just a stranger you might see in law enforcement.
Okay, so that was a over the speaker saying that the library is closing in a while. So can we just talk about the back just for a second too? You mentioned that You Were Seen. Just maybe tell people about that. And because I know there's a certain website they can go to, youwereseen.com.
Right, exactly. Yeah, You Were Seen is a movement that we started about a year ago because there was nothing out like it. And what it is you buy a pack of 10 cards. We sell them for $4.99, including shipping. And the cards come to you, you carry them around in your wallet, and you give the cards out to people along your path. So you have all of your life and all of the life of that barista, police officer, cashier, food server, all of their life and all of your life will intersect for one precious moment.
Yes.
And are you ready to bring them the hope that they need? That's what You Were Seen is about. I had an experience at a restaurant where this waiter was so wonderful and kind, but I could see he was not doing well. When he would step off the floor, he looked like he had the weight of the world on him. And I had no way to help him. You can give a big tip, you can say, God bless you, but that's what we say when we sneeze. And so it wasn't enough. And so this is it's a movement of generosity and gratitude that maybe you're going to give a $5 bill to the cashier. She never gets tipped. And so you're going to say, I just want you to know you were seen. You had to hold that card up. You say, you were seen by me today, and you're seen by God every day. So then you give them the card. The card leads them to the website, youwereseen.com. And the website leads them to a myriad of different options. It's storytelling. The way you first get there, it's going to feel storytelling, but it raises the question, do you have a savior? Where are you going? And so you can click the link. Hey, I don't know, it'll lead you to Billy Graham's. We link with the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association. So their plan for salvation and their 24/7 prayer line is on our card. So if you're in the middle of something and you're like, I don't know that I'm going to make it till tomorrow, you call and somebody will be praying with you. It also leads you to the help links from the BGEA, which again, if I give somebody a card that says, here's Billy Graham's website, it's not the same as giving them a thank you card with a cup of coffee on it and a couple dollars or $5 or $20, whatever you have put aside to be able to use for God's purposes. And now you were talking about people who are, it goes full circle. They write into us and they say, I don't know who this person was, but I was ready to end it all. And I got this card and now I'm giving my life to Jesus, and someone's sending me a Bible. So we do send Bibles out to people who ask, and it's just exciting. It's exciting. We have had more than 500,000 cards go out of the office in the last few months. And we went to Oklahoma City and we got to present the idea to Steve and Jackie Green with Hobby Lobby. And they are going to be carrying the cards. It will be, as soon as it happens, I'll let people know on my website and my newsletter, which is a great way to be connected with me. But the Hobby Lobby will be carrying these in every single store. So we're really excited about that.
That I have to tell you that so touched my heart, because I know that, I've done some things in the past, we all have, but I think to have that venue, that little gift, and it is a gift, it is, because I know in my life, there are times when I haven't felt like I've been seen.
Right.
I think we can all say that, but to be able to hand somebody that, or to leave it, I was just telling somebody the other day how I used to, when I lived in New York and I was working in a different area, I would stop to grab coffee and I would pay for the next person's coffee and ask them to please say, Jesus loves you.
Yeah.
And
Aw.
they would do that.
Yeah.
And, I had to believe that somehow that someone was going to be touched that day.
See, and now you could do the same thing and leave the card
Right.
and be sure that like the card there's no way they don't find what they need
Mhm.
through that card. If they go to the website, then the chance to find salvation, to find help links, to find scripture that will speak to them, to find a free Bible, to get someone to pray with you right now on the phone, like it's all there. And you won't have time for that conversation when you have a moment's time that your life is intersecting with someone. But God does call us to love him, love others, and live our lives on mission. And this allows you to do that.
Well, I'm ordering a bunch tomorrow, I want you to know, and I'm very excited about getting them.
That's
So,
awesome.
thank you so much for what you do and how I just love people who love the Lord. And, what he's done for your own life and gotten you through things, and the people whose path, you have intersected with. And I'm so grateful. This is, again, a dream come true to get a chance to hang out with you and just to get to know you a little bit better. And again, a distant shore, make sure you get it. And you know what I always say? Get one for a friend.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh, and also what I always say, write a review.
Yes, leave a review. Go read the ones on Amazon. That's so
Yes.
fun right now.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jill. Thanks for having me. Honored to
All
be
right.
with you. Have a
God
great,
bless you. And hopefully we'll talk to you at some point in time again.
okay.
All right. Take care. Bye, everybody.